There is a massive shift. 2026 is going to be harder than 2025. And guess what? 2027 is going to be probably harder than 2026.
Going into this new year, what would you say is a challenge that you think we specifically would be facing?
Basically, there's going to be a crossroads. You're going to have to either go one way or another, or you're going to get stuck into a system that it's going to be very hard to get out of. So welcome, guys, to the new Exodus podcast channel. We've been wanting to start this channel for quite a while now. We've been talking about it. So super excited, super stoked that it's finally launching, and we've taken the initiative to be able to start it. So really excited about that. A lot of things to come. And where to begin?
With your name.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yes, I guess that would be appropriate. My name is Luke, and this is my lovely wife.
Yeah, I'm Barbara. So like he was saying, we really just wanted to start this podcast because we have a lot of things that we always want to talk about, and there's a lot of things that are obviously going on with the world. Things are ever changing. Can you believe that we're at the end of 2025?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's crazy to believe.
Where did the year go? It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And then now we're embarking on 2026, and it's just like, wow. And with 2026 rapidly approaching, things continue to change, and I think people want to stay ahead of kind of what's going on. People that are, I don't know how to say it, just people that want to be prepared, people that are awake, people. I was
going to say awake, yeah.
Yeah, and people that really want to not just kind of survive in the future, but find ways to thrive through it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the main purpose of this channel, is to not only give out good information, and there's so much different content out there, but this is going to be our twist on things. We've got a lot to say, and I think there cannot be ever too many voices. I think that's one really big thing. I think there's a lot of information, but everybody's got their little different twist on how they approach things. So we have a lot of convictions and a lot of thoughts, and obviously very passionate about different ideas and how to fight back to be able to gain, I guess, some sort of independence. So sovereignty, if you will. But that being said, so that's part of it. But I think one of the main things for me through all of this was, as you know, I think we've done a video on your channel about this, but is community. You know, for me, a big thing in the days to come, which we can talk about the channel name a little bit afterwards, how we kind of came up with that too. But I think in the days to come, there's going to be a lot kind of going on, and
community is going to be a pillar.
Community is going to be key. Because things are getting tougher by the day. If you have been noticing all the inflation, just everything, the housing costs, everything that's going rampant right now, it's just absolutely insane. So we're going to have to find ways to find like-minded people in different sectors of our local communities. So my big passion is just, I'm such a people person that I really strongly believe that not only that I love being around people, but at the same time, I think the urgency is probably more important now than it ever has been. Given the times that we're going into. So that's kind of like the preface of why we're building this channel. It's not only to build community, which is one of the main pillars, but it's also to spread legitimate convictions and information. That's kind of going on in every sphere of information that's out there: geopolitical, finance, economy, debt,
everything,
all of it.
And I really want to focus on real solutions for real people. That's the way I like to think about it, because I think there's a lot of information out there that a lot of people sometimes can't always relate to, because it's a little bit more far-reached. And I want to be able to share solutions with people that, or not with certain people, but I want to share solutions that feel more attainable, because there are a lot of things that we can be doing right now, a lot of things that people can be doing on a day-to-day basis to kind of get ahead of, like I always say, coming down the pipeline. And they're not all big giant steps, but they are steps forward. And I think we just need to focus on that. And I'm excited to talk about these different kinds of things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been in the making for a while. It's just life takes its turns, and one thing pushes back another, and then the timeline kind of approaches, and we're like, we need to do this before the end of the year. So we really were hammering down.
And this has been a very busy year for us because a few different things. Obviously, well, if you follow my other channel, A Homestead Journey, I have talked about our move to where we currently are. That's Oklahoma. Very happy to be here.
Great state of Oklahoma.
Yeah. And very busy year with moving. We moved from Texas to Oklahoma, and there's so much involved with the transition. And then I'll also add that we had a baby, and wow, does that ever change life?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
yes, it does.
In the most amazing
way.
Every
plan that you've ever had kind of just gets on the back burner because of that. So, definitely a blessing, but also big responsibility that comes with that. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I think he's figuring that out a little bit more than
you could say
than he probably thought.
Yes. You could say so. Raising two dogs is not really comparable.
No. So
yeah.
But so let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about something that I think a lot of Americans are feeling right now, and it's the fact that people are there's a lot of mixed sentiment about 2026. The future seems pretty uncertain for a lot of people because people feel stretched thin, and they're very uneasy about everything that's always happening. Yeah. You turn on the news and it's almost like a joke because every day there's like 5 new catastrophes. It almost feels like. And, pretty much people are just really struggling because we're juggling rising costs. We're juggling, the issues with inflation, problems with rent, your groceries. People are already living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, 1 in 4 American households are living paycheck to paycheck right now. Yeah. And it's not a good time. No. There are many people that are doing okay, and that's wonderful. And then there are a lot of people that are really struggling. So what's your outlook right now on 2026? What do you think that is something that maybe a lot of people are facing or are not sure about going into 2026? How do you think people should, embrace this next new year with everything that's going on? Yeah, it's a great question. I really think, we've been advocates of this for years, but I really think, if not now, it's not like never, but it's the idea of like the urgency hasn't been so high for, in my opinion, to get, I think, your finances in order. I know that sounds a little bit cliche because we do talk about that quite a bit, but I just think, inflation it's a hidden tax, right? It's a way to be able to get taxed without us knowing it or gradually kind of creeping up on us. So when it's almost like a trick thing. So when a dozen eggs is $3, then it slowly creeps up to $4, and then next it's $6, and then next there's none available. Whatever the case is, you get into a position that if your finances are not in check and you are living, like you were saying, paycheck to paycheck, and which is a lot of Americans right now, it puts you in a very tight buckle, and I think what ends up happening is you slowly get stressed over time, and you don't really know why, but your finances keep increasing because every little bit, and you don't think it's a big difference that your coffee went up 30 cents from say last year. Your expenses, expenditures go up, and but after a while, there's like a hidden stress within the family household to say, hey, this is not going well. I'm putting more and more overtime. I'm trying harder and harder at work, or I did get a promotion this year, but it's still not enough, or it's not going where we're not getting ahead here, or as we should be. Hey, I've been looking to upgrade the truck. I can't. Why? What's the problem? So I really think that getting your finances in order, I'd have to say, is probably one of the bigger things that people should be focused on right now. Just because it's
it's such a critical thing, because once you have that, everything else can follow suit. Everything else makes a little bit more sense. You know, money should not be worshipped, but it solves problems. And I think the thing is when inflation comes and attacks you year after year after year after year, and it keeps on creeping up, if you have your finances at least in order, you can kind of take care of the problem. Whether you have different sources of revenue, different streams of income, just lots of savings, making wise choices.
It definitely helps.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting your finances in order, I think it's step number one. I'm not saying it's the only step, but I think it is one of the bigger ones, because then you can kind of pivot when you need to pivot. You've got room to be able to pivot versus being strangled and stuck somewhere in a spot that you definitely don't want to be in. So that's where I would suggest to people to get their finances in order. What does that entail? Of course, getting out of debt, typical thing, right? Pay off your credit card bills, get all your things in order. If there's unnecessary debt that you can eliminate, you've got this big, nice, fancy truck. Actually, funny enough, I was just talking to one of my friends, won't mention names, that has a big truck payment. He bought a brand new truck. He was trying to sell it to me, funny enough. Well, he's out of state, so it wouldn't have mattered. I would probably not purchase it anyway. But that being said, it's a good example that he bought a big brand new truck. And he was just telling me, he's like, hey, man, he's like, oh, you're looking to upgrade a truck? We're looking to upgrade for a crew cab because of our new son. And he wanted to sell it to me. And I was like, oh, I said, how much are you asking for? What year is it? And it's a newer truck. And I'm like, oh gosh, man, no, you probably paid 60 plus grand for it. He probably wants about 40. He just barely wants to pay the debt. He's willing to even take a loss just because he doesn't want the payment. So that's a perfect example of kind of what's going on right now. People are realizing that they have to downsize.
It is. And I think also that to make changes with our finances, it's great to say, hey, this is what we're going to do going forward, but it's not that you can do those things and then have the expectation that everything gets fixed overnight, because it's not like that.
No.
Finances is like a slow creep. I mean, you have to make it a lifestyle of how you choose to spend your money.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
And then over time, you see the changes. You know, it's like if somebody all of a sudden decides that they want to get more healthy and they want to take their health back in control.
Yeah.
And you can't just follow a certain diet and then in 5 days you achieved your goals. Yeah. I mean, it's not really like that.
We all love that, right? Yeah. No.
Right. Yeah. It's you're putting in the work and you're not really even seeing the progress, but you keep showing up and you keep doing the thing, and then eventually you look back and you see that you did come a little bit of ways. And then you keep going and then you notice it even more, you know, the divide grows. And I think it's the same thing with finances. Yeah. There are certain things that you can do right away to help mitigate costs. And we've been doing that for the duration of our marriage, not because that's what I wanted to do in the beginning, but
a little bit of influence.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm grateful because we've made certain decisions that have really paid off and that have really helped us out now. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that everything's just hunky-dory and we don't need to keep being frugal or budget or plan wisely and all kinds of things. We're not immune to any of that by any means.
No, because inflation keeps going up.
And that's the problem, you know? So, and that's something that I really want to talk about. We really want to talk about on this channel, you know, going forward, just always trying to talk about solutions with that, because it's not a one-all fix-all. There's not just a one solution. It's not an overnight solution. There are certain things that we did that really helped us right away in terms of, like, instead of renting in the nice part of town, maybe like not the best part of town. And so therefore we saved like $500 a month on rent and, you know, just examples like that. There are certain things that you can do that really helps right away, but it's generally more of a lifestyle shift. Yeah. And it's not fun all the time, you know, and it's not always convenient.
There needs to be a sacrifice.
You know, you're not the cool kids on the block when you're always being frugal. Yeah. But, you know, you have to do what you need to do for your family. And the way the world is going, the way things are right now, I think it is wise for people to be diligent and really think about this. So, I mean, I completely agree with you. Finances is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all of it. You couldn't have said it better. I really think finances is where it kind of begins. And then you can make better decisions for your family going forward. Yeah. Because it's going to get, and this is not getting easier and easier. 2026 is going to be harder than 2025. And guess what? 2027 is going to be probably harder than 2026. So it's really not going anywhere.
Yeah.
If you don't consistently work at it, like you were saying, like
Yeah.
you were saying that, oh, whether us or anybody else, if you ever think that, oh, you know, you've made it, you're completely deceived, because there's so much going on. And if you're like, okay, well, I can make it now, but in 2 years from now, you may not be able to. So it's a constant hustle. Of
unfortunately
of making the right decisions. And choosing to live more simply or within your means. To be able to, I hate to say prosper later on, but to be at least in a better position financially and not in a desperate need of struggle. That's the key.
And it's only going to help, you know.
And
you also touched on something else that's also really important, and something that we're going to obviously talk a lot about on this channel, and that's community. Why do you think people are realizing that community is more important than they've been putting emphasis on the past several years? Because, you know, nowadays we have social media, we have our phones, you know, the internet. It's so easy to stay connected with everybody. You can connect with everybody, you know, not everybody, but you know what I mean? It's so easy to connect with everybody. But people are lacking community still, even still. So why do you think that is? And why do you think people are waking up to the fact that, hey, maybe this is not everything?
Yeah, it's a good question. I really think it boils down to several things. The different interests of different people are more separated now than it's ever been, meaning there's so much strong beliefs after 2020 that has gone one way versus another way. And so now, like we have seen that even having our convictions and our beliefs now are so strong towards a certain direction, a certain way of life, that the average person that you see on the street is not going to be able to maybe understand you the way you may have been understood in the past. So meaning, you know, back in the day, I never had any problems being able to cope and understand where a person's coming from or whatnot. Now, if we stop to talk to people on the street or whatever the case is in our community groups or in our neighbors, whatever the case is, a lot of times I can't fathom the decisions that they're making. Meaning they're living in a kind of a fantasy land. They're buying things that they can't afford, or they're complaining about certain things, about whether it's their finances, their jobs, or, you know, again, the cost of living, this and that. But I really think there's a big divide in the sense of where they stand on their belief system. And I'm not talking about the left and the right. I am saying between the general lifestyle.
I was going to say, the way people live their lives.
Yes, I think that's and it's becoming more and more divided. It doesn't, because life is getting so hard for so many people that when people make, I don't want to say foolish decisions, but when they make decisions that don't benefit them, and they do it just so consciously, like knowing what they're doing, for us it seems so strange that it becomes difficult to be able to understand their point of view and say, why would you do, you know?
Sometimes it gets hard to relate. Because it's the people, and I'm not trying to, we're not trying to, you know, make division here or anything.
That's why I was gentle to how I said it, because that's not what my intention is, not to down anybody or to whatever the case is.
No, it's just,
it's to address your question in the sense of,
I guess it gets hard when we have the vision that we are looking long term and we're trying to prepare long term because of what we see going on right now. There are certain perceived issues and dangers that we're trying to mitigate and try and get ahead of. So when we're working hard to do those types of things, and then there are others that are maybe just more focused and just living for instant gratification, but yet we're over here trying to look, well, how can I get over here so that in the next 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully my family is able to be a little bit more sufficient, independent, in a better position than now. And then, you know, others are just like, hey, you know, focused on where else to spend money right now, and just instant gratification type things,
Yeah.
it makes it hard to relate sometimes.
Yes, very much.
You know,
very
and
much.
Especially because then if they ask you, well, what are you up to? And you're like, I'm looking to buy land, and
Yeah.
you know, let's just build a community, and they're
Right.
just looking at you like you're crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know, and there's just, gosh, there's just so many things, you know. Anyways, before I go too much
Yeah.
further down just a random rabbit hole on this first episode.
Yeah. I think we've made the point across as to
Yeah.
kind of what that means, and then we can go into more the reasons why, because we're so interconnected with the technology aspect of things. But that's also why I think people are more separated than ever before. It's not only the difference in interests and lifestyles, but also due to the fact that we're really, I think it goes into answering your question earlier, in the sense of being so divided, because all we have now is, for the most part, is such technology that people don't meet face to face that much anymore. No. And they don't take the opportunity to be able to go and meet their fellow local community and their fellow brother or sister or whatever the case may be. Try to reach out, try to do all those things. They rather sit back of a text message and, you know, communicate that way, and then they wonder why they're so lonely. So,
right. But that's changing. That's changing.
There is a massive shift. That's why I think of it as we're hitting like a crossroads, and that's mainly the point of this channel and the new Exodus, is that the fact that I think we're going to hit a crossroads specifically for Gen Z and millennials and that type of thing, like that is coming. And I really believe that strongly there's going to be very strong convictions on one side. People are going to choose to find alternative ways to live. I was going to say work the system. Yes, to live, meaning be more independent, not maybe do the 9-to-5 grind in a job that they hate towards minimum wage and just enough to get by and wonder if there's anything on the other side of the fence, versus somebody that's like, you know what, I'm going to take opportunity to be more independent, be more self-sufficient, not let the government and wait out for a handout basically from the government and wait for a check that comes in the mail. So I really think people are taking their life in their own hands and now making better decisions, getting out of debt, looking to build communities, all these things. So there's going to be that crossroads, because they're going to, and that's a whole different subject. I don't know if we're ready for that this episode, but basically there's going to be a crossroads. You're going to have to either go one way or another, or you're going to get stuck into a system that it's going to be very hard to get out of.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's been happening already now for several years. I would say that, and I know you agree, that pretty much like with the onset of 2020, that really started.
Oh yeah, it did for us. It did for us.
Oh yeah, it sure did. We have some crazy stories, and we can talk about that maybe on another episode. But it I think it really started then, and it's growing, it's increasing, and with the community factor, I think a lot of people, just going back to that, I think they're waking up to the importance of having local community and building those type of networks around you locally, because the government can fail you, local supply chains can fail you, all kinds of things, and the more reliant we are upon those systems, I mean, you realize that you're just kind of like putting your livelihood and just everything about you and your family, you're putting it in somebody else's hands, and hoping that they just always kind of take care of you. And the past several years have been showing that you can't just do that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that, we don't still have great systems that do help people, but when you look at the grand scheme of things and globally what's going on and all of these things that are happening, you realize that it's going to be very important to try and work towards, more independence. And it doesn't mean that, hey, I'm going to be independent on my own little island and I don't need people. That's not the point. It just means more independent from certain systems. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not going to look the same for everybody, but we can all work towards something.
Yeah. And one thing that I've been just living by, and I really stand firm on it, is to, and I quote this all the time, is to shift the focus on being a producer versus a consumer, right? I think that that's so huge, and in the sense of not, again, everything we just reiterated of, not depending on the government or whatever the case may be, but that's also in the sense of, I think everything that we need really is to be able to, on the word of community, is to be able to meet local people, shake their hands, do business with local people. Everything can be done with that and with the land, I believe, for the most part. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use the internet to leverage the casting the net to be able to broaden that spectrum. But everything can be done with a local handshake and meeting the local people and utilizing the land to be able to do that. So those are just like, some of the pillars to be able to add on to that in the sense of a new exodus, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
So I think it's fitting. I think so too. Yeah.
So something I also wanted to ask as we kind of wrap up the podcast here is this particular question. Going into 2026, every year presents its different challenges. Going into this new year, what would you say is a challenge that you think we specifically would be facing? And what do you think we're going to be doing to try and overcome that? Because I know there are so many different challenges. Everybody faces different ones. A lot of us face the same ones. But us specifically, what would you say is something that is going to be a challenge for us and what we're going to be trying to do to overcome that? Because again, I want to be transparent on this podcast and talk about, real problems, real people, real solutions. So just kind of getting back to that. What's that going to look like as of right now for us, do you think?
I really think it's going to be doubling down on a lot of things, like doubling down on our seriousness and commitment to self-sufficiency, which is really going really, really hard to look at land, being more of a producer, not a consumer, getting out of the city, focusing on those things, focusing on producing more of our own food. With that, so it's not one particular thing, but with that along comes community, and continually doubling down on it's just a nonstop hustle to be able to double down on our finances. I think it's just a matter of continually to, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of distractions sometimes, but the focus should be to be able to do that. And I do believe the more you surround yourself, the more you can get out of the cities and out of the big cities, the more that you can focus, or more naturally that it will occur that you are going to find a different type of community. And as long as you don't, go too far out and you sit inside your house and you don't do anything, but granted, most people probably wouldn't do that, I would suggest, and I would hope. But I really think for us, that's what it's going to be. It's doubling down, taking things a little bit more seriously, or a lot more seriously, as a matter of community, connections, good people, surrounding yourself with good people that you know and you trust. And and then again, continually having finances in check, and buying hard assets. We're big fans of gold and silver. We don't really, that could be a completely different episode, but continue to double down on things like that. Any spare cash that we may have on the side, whatever the case is to have those things, because later on those will pay off. Again, it's not, gold doesn't do anything for us right now. But later on it could, and it could for our son. So for us, it's not, we're not looking short-sighted. We're looking more long-term, generational. It's kind of where we're at. Especially having him opens up obviously a whole different perspective on life in general, and just priorities shift. So but I think that's really it. It's just doubling down, taking things more seriously. Even if it's just a little bit more than 2025, I think it's better. Even like it's the small things that matter, that accumulate over time, versus just a one big thing that happens, and if you drop the ball after that, it didn't really you may have taken 2 steps forward and 1.5 steps back, but then really you didn't make much progress. I'd rather continually step on stepping stones than some sort of quicksand along the way. So
yeah.
And
I think that's key what you said, taking small steps. You know, I mean, take big steps if you can, jump if you can, but at least take small steps, you know? So I think what you said is great. I'm in complete agreement with all of that. And I just want to invite you all, you know, whatever steps you plan to do in the new year, and if you haven't thought about it yet, now's a great time to do it. But if there are certain things that you feel convicted about to focus on in the new year, to try and get better at, or new things to explore, sometimes it's even just learning about something. Sometimes you can't say, hey, well, I'm going to go and get precious metals right now, or I'm going to go and get land right now, but guess what? I can start learning because education is free, you know, online and books, and, you know, there's so many resources. There's a lot of good information out there.
And on that note, I had to study a lot, the precious metals aspect of things before, because I was never introduced to that, and I really had to sit
self-educate.
Down, until I took a lot of confidence to dump a decent amount of money continually, gradually into it, versus just going into it blindly. That was a 6 months plus of just continually like, hey, is this, what is
what's
this all
going
about?
on with
what
all
is
that?
The history of this? Is this, oh, this is sound money, this is real money. So
and we're a big fan of hard assets, you know, and there's different kinds of assets out there, and just everybody should always just do your own research, follow your convictions,
of course,
because we're not by any means right now trying to promote anything here. We're just sharing our convictions and whatnot, you know. Absolutely. And we're not financial advisors, you know. We're
this is just our lifestyle. It's our lifestyle. We're sharing what we're doing, our convictions, where we're going, where we're seeing life go, what we're doing to prepare, so that we don't get caught with our pants down, basically. So.
And we just want to encourage others to, you know, follow their convictions the same. So, but if you have anything that you know you're going to be working on for the next new year, let us know in the comments below. We can go ahead and read your comments. We're going to read your comments, but also the community, people that are watching this are going to be able to see what everybody is striving towards as well. And sometimes it's just helpful to even know what other people are planning to do or thinking to do. It's very encouraging, because a lot of times you start to feel like, well, it's just me. Well, maybe I'm just crazy, you know, and nobody else thinks like I do. And that's not the case. There are so many people that are awake and are wanting to do things, that are executing. And sometimes, you know, we just need that extra encouragement. So again, we want to do that with this channel. In the future, we plan on bringing on different guests to the channel, and having some really great discussions. So, of course, stay tuned to that. And so drop your comments down below. And also, if you want to watch these episodes, we are hoping to put them out once a week. And make sure you are subscribed. With YouTube, you don't always see videos pop up anymore just because you are subscribed. So you may just need to come back and check for the new weekly video. But we are going to be having a video weekly. So I think that is a wrap for our first episode, unless there's anything else that you would like to share right now.
I could probably go on for hours. So we'll wait for the next episode, I think.
All right.
This has been really, really cool. We're glad that we finally launched it. So really excited for the future, excited to see where this is all going to go. Excited to just meet tons of people, honestly, and hear from all you guys. This is going to be awesome. I'm stoked about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Just new year, starting off early. So
that's right.
I'm excited.
So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for being a part of the new Exodus.
Yes.
Take care.
Take care, friends. Bye-bye.